It was a cold, quiet evening in the small town of Ravenwood. Lisa, a 30-year-old journalist, walked briskly through the empty streets, her coat wrapped tightly around her. Her editor had assigned her a story about the strange events surrounding the old clock tower, and Lisa was determined to uncover the truth. The clock tower, abandoned for decades, had always been a local curiosity, but in recent weeks it had become the center of the town's whispers. Some residents claimed to hear footsteps at night and see a dim light flickering through the cracked windows. Others swore they saw shadows moving inside. Most dismissed it as superstition, but Lisa's instincts told her there was more to the story. The streets of Ravenwood were eerily quiet as Lisa approached the tower. It loomed over the square, its tall frame dark against the evening sky. A chill ran down her spine as she noticed the heavy wooden door standing slightly ajar, creaking softly in the wind. "This door is always locked," she murmured, gripping her flashlight tightly. Lisa hesitated for a moment before stepping inside. The air was damp, and the faint smell of mildew lingered. Her footsteps echoed as she walked across the stone floor. Dust coated everything, but faint footprints in the dirt led toward a narrow staircase winding upward. "Someone's been here recently," Lisa whispered to herself, her pulse quickening. She followed the trail up the creaking stairs, her flashlight casting long shadows on the walls. At the top, she reached the clock room. The massive gears, once the heart of the clock, were now rusted and motionless. Her light caught a glint of something behind the machinery. A small door, nearly invisible against the wall. Lisa approached cautiously. The door was old but not locked, and it opened with a soft groan. Inside she found a hidden room no larger than a closet. A wooden table sat in the center, cluttered with papers, maps, and photographs. On the wall, a large map of Ravenwood was pinned, with several locations marked in red. Lisa picked up one of the papers. It was an old letter addressed to D. Blackwood and dated 50 years ago. The handwriting was elegant but faded. The letter spoke cryptically of a hidden treasure and a secret that could change the course of Ravenwood forever. As she read, Lisa's heart raced. Could the clock tower be connected to a long-buried secret? Suddenly, she heard a soft creak behind her. Spinning around, she saw a figure standing in the doorway. It was a man, perhaps in his 40s, with sharp features and a calm but piercing gaze. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice low but firm. Lisa tightened her grip on her flashlight. "Who are you? And what are you doing here?" The man stepped further into the room, his movements slow and deliberate. "I could ask you the same thing, but since you've found this place, you might as well know. This isn't just an old clock tower. It's the key to something much bigger, if you know where to look." Lisa's mind raced. "What are you talking about? What's going on here?" Instead of answering, the man reached for a map on the table. He traced his finger over one of the red circles. "If you want answers, follow the trail. But be careful. There are people in this town who don't want this mystery solved." Before Lisa could ask another question, the man slipped out of the room, disappearing into the shadows. She rushed after him, but by the time she reached the stairs, he was gone. Standing alone in the silent tower, Lisa felt a mix of fear and excitement. Whatever was happening here, it was no ordinary story. She turned back to the hidden room and began examining the materials on the table. The red circles marked places she recognized: the old library, the town's abandoned mine, and the mayor's estate. Each location seemed tied to the mystery. Over the next week, Lisa threw herself into the investigation. She visited the marked locations, uncovering more clues: a coded journal in the library, an old key buried in the mine, and a set of coordinates hidden in a painting at the mayor's house. Each discovery pointed to a single location, the Ravenwood Cemetery. Late one night, Lisa found herself standing at the edge of the cemetery, flashlight in hand. The coordinates led her to an unmarked grave near the oldest part of the grounds. As she dug, her hands trembling, she unearthed a small, locked box. Using the key from the mine, Lisa opened the box. Inside was a collection of documents that revealed a shocking truth. Decades ago, Ravenwood's leaders had conspired to hide evidence of a vast fortune left behind by the town's founder. The treasure, if found, could save the struggling town, but it had been buried to protect the interests of a few powerful families. As Lisa stood in the cold night air, holding the box, she realized the weight of her discovery. The secret of the clock tower was more than just a story. It was the key to Ravenwood's future. But in the distance, Lisa heard footsteps approaching. She wasn't alone. Lisa's heart raced as the footsteps drew closer. She clutched the box tightly, her flashlight shaking. The man from the clock tower stepped into view, his sharp features cold under the moonlight. "You shouldn't have dug it up," he said, his voice low. Behind him, another shadow moved, a second figure, taller and masked. Lisa backed away. "This belongs to the town. People deserve to know." The man smiled faintly, almost pitying. "Some secrets should stay buried." Before Lisa could respond, the taller figure lunged. She stumbled, the box slipping from her hands. In the chaos, she hit the ground, and the last thing she saw was the man's shadowy figure looming over her, picking up the box. When Lisa awoke, she was lying alone in the cemetery. The box was gone, and in its place was a single note: "Stay silent, or you'll join the secret."